Young and the Restless spoilers, Audra's unhinged behavior, and Kyle's desperate plan for Claire. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. On Wednesday, September 3rd, Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, and Audra are out jogging and running to each other, taunting each other, and flinging insults. She's also insulting Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, and Kyle Michael Mealer says, "Keep her name out of your mouth." Audra claims Kyle is mad because he is hot for her, and he retorts that Audra is the one who wants him. We all know where arguing leads on soap operas. I think these two are going to be back in bed way too soon, but we'll see. Kyle mocks Audra, saying she's lost everything. Meanwhile, Kyle says Victor has changed his mind and is now on his and Claire's side, but Audra thinks he's lying. I also think Victor's lying. Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Kyle talk about his Audra showdown once his son is back at the Abbott mansion. Kyle is worried because Claire walked out on the proposal and has not been in touch. He really doesn't want to leave Claire alone and be patient because he's scared he's going to lose her. Kyle says if he can make Audra leave town, then Claire will see how dedicated he is. This is his next grand gesture. Sally Spector's success in Billy Abbott's romantic gesture. Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, talks to Jack on the phone and says Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, is killing it with AbbottCom and the 50s theme launch is going to be amazing. They end the call as Sally comes in and tells Billy she's excited but nervous. He shows her a newspaper mock-up, a fake newspaper he had made that talks about how successful Sally is. It also includes news on the society page that Billy adores Sally and wants her to move in with him. Now, she's not sure about this, but Billy is. He even tells Sally he had the newspaper printed up a couple weeks ago, well before asking her to move in. She's also worried about how Billy's kids will feel about it, but he says they like her. Sally is also worried about working and living together, but Billy says that's going to be fine. So, she finally agrees to move in. Young and the Restless spoilers, Claire's drunken confession, Audra and Victor's plot exposed. Claire is with Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, at the GCAC bar. They're doing their usual drink of Vespers, but then Claire wants shots. She wants to get drunk. She wants to cut loose. When Holden is like, "Slow down," she's like, "Don't babysit me." So he knows something's wrong and asks Claire about it. She tells him about Audra and Victor's dirty plot against her and Kyle. Holden warns Claire that Audra is trouble. Claire asks about his and Audra's time in L.A. She thinks Audra is going to pull more stunts, but Holden says, "Just let karma finish her off." Claire tells Holden that he really doesn't know what she's capable of either, and that is true because she has a very dark past herself. Audra walks up on them talking at the bar and pounces like she's ready to dig in her claws. Nikki and Victor's romantic interlude, and Claire's confrontation with Audra. On Thursday, September 4th, we have Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, giving Victor Knight a romance to show him how much she loves him since he's the one who's always doing special things for her. Meanwhile, Claire goes off on Audra at the GCAC bar. Claire's a little tipsy already, and she's got some things to say to that woman. I do wonder if Audra's going to add some details to the situation of what happened in France that Kyle left out, like the fact that he was on the bed with Audra and on top of her, and mostly undressed with just a towel on. Audra did say if Claire knew everything, she might not forgive him, so she may tell everything. Michael Baldwin's career crossroads, new opportunities on Young and the Restless. Michael Baldwin, Christian Jules LeBlanc, gets an interesting offer on Thursday, and I wonder if it is to work for the Winners Company, or maybe Lauren Fenmore, Tracy Bregman, wants him to work at Fenmore's. Or maybe it's something a little more minor like officiating Danny Romalotti, Michael Damian, and Christine Williams, Laura Lee Bell, upcoming wedding, which is supposed to be in October on Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless spoilers, Genoa City turmoil, Victor's war, Lily's quest, and Phyllis's folly. On Friday, September 5th, Victor tells the family, "We are going to war." Now, if he announces that they're going to take down Jabot, we know that Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, is willing to do that, but I'm not so sure that Nikki and Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, will be on board. I doubt Claire will be unless she finds out Kyle was on top of Audra in that towel. But then again, maybe not, because she still likes Jack and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters. Also, Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, tries to get the truth out of Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn. Lily really wants to know his agenda. I wonder if she figures out something is going on at Winters, and she may suspect him of having a hand in, because that is his next target. Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, goes too far and may once again mess things up for herself. She will not accept that Kane is backing down, and she doesn't have a job there, and she was grilling Amanda Sinclair, Miss Hale Morgan. But thankfully, she didn't give her a lot to go on. Kyle's desperate plan to oust Audra. Y&R Weekly Spoilers. The week of September 8th through the 12th, Jack and Diane fear the worst for their son. Kyle is determined to prove himself to Claire by running Audra out of town. Kyle has zero chill and zero patience and isn't going to give Claire any space because he thinks if she has space, she's going to have second thoughts and will break up with him. This has Diane and Jack very worried because they don't like when Kyle is plotting, as he has a tendency to go dark. Audra and Claire's big argument could result in more tea being spilled, maybe some blood, because Claire really wanted to slap Audra's face. I'm sure Holden is going to be stuck in the middle trying to keep them away from attacking each other physically. Also, in the matter of Audra and Holden, he's got that info about what went down with Tucker McCall, Trevor St. John, and Audra in L.A., that situation that Holden helped her out of. I'm wondering if he's going to spill those beans to help Claire take down Audra. I think it's all going to depend if she's saying nasty things to Holden during her fight with Audra. Then the gloves may come off. Kane's AI scheme and Tamara Braun's mysterious new character on Young and the Restless. Michael gives an answer to the proposition that was presented to him. If you remember, Victor told Kane that he was going to release the info that Colin Atkinson, Tristan Rogers, had conned this woman and that she gave all her inheritance to him. Now, what Victor has is the will that shows that Colin inherited. That doesn't necessarily prove that Colin was running a scam. Plus, Colin's been dead for more than 6 months now. I don't think Kane's dad, who has been dead for a while, is going to be that big of a scandal that he inherited money from some woman. I mean, it kind of seems like the scandal would have died with him, and that was only seed money. You know, they made the rest of the money. Again, we'll see because Victor is continuing to pressure him. But Kane doesn't want to play ball with him. What's Kane really up to on Y&R? I'm also wondering exactly how Kane is planning to use AI against these companies. I also wonder if the Y&R writers know enough about AI to write a plot about it. Unless, of course, they asked AI to write the plot about AI, which would be pretty ironic. But it also seems like something mediocre that Josh Griffith would do. I also wonder if Tamara Braun's new character is going to tie into Kane's missing years outside of Genoa City. We're also going to see Phyllis doing damage control next week after her blunder. Young and the Restless early spoilers March 10th to 14th. Victor seeds, Claire pushes, and Holden plots. Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Victor Newman, Eric Braden, is seething. Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, is pushing, and Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, is plotting. As we always do on Early Edition Day, we're going to start with what's happening the rest of this week, and that starts on Wednesday, March 5th. Victor and Jack's tense confrontation at the GCC. Abbott versus Newman feud intensifies. Victor Newman, Eric Braden, runs into Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and he's at the GCAC. They're both there with their wives. And Victor's talking about his idiot brother Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. That's a really nice thing to say, starting a communications company. And he's telling Jack that Billy is a stain on John Abbott's reputation, just being real nasty. Jack and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, realize that somebody has leaked the information about the launch of this new company. Not a lot of people know it, and it's definitely a secret that's being held internally at Jabot, and they know somebody has run their mouth. Diane and Jack are wondering whether it could be Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, and Jack also suggests to Victor that they make a deal. They're going to just leave Claire and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, alone, leave them out of whatever animosity is between them. But of course, Victor is raging. He's not going to do it. He doesn't want Kyle anywhere near his granddaughter. Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, and Diane both try and lobby. But of course, Victor isn't a snit. He's not going to agree at all. Later, Nikki asks Victor to just please call a truce with Jack before things go too far. And that's where Victor wants him to go. is too far. So no, he's not going to back down no matter what she says. Billy, Adam, and Chelsea's love triangle drama. Accusations and lingering feelings at Crimson Lights. Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. Meanwhile, runs into Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, and Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan at Crimson Lights, and she's watching them antagonizing each other. Not enjoying it at all, not a fan. She's wondering exactly if it's just that old rivalry, or if it has something to do with Billy being with Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. Now, Adam accuses Billy of coming after him in Newman Media. So, Adam clearly also knows about the launch of his company. Billy claps back. They trade insults. And then when Adam goes to take a call, Billy starts bugging Chelsea. He's asking her questions about her personal life and if she is getting back involved with Adam. She doesn't think it's any of Billy's business, but he just doesn't want to see Chelsea hurt. Adam is very annoyed by the way Billy is talking about him when he comes back in, and Chelsea just says, please stop bickering. Then after Billy goes, she is wondering if Adam may still be hung up on Sally, and that's why he's worked up at Billy. He says no, and they both kind of confirm, all right, we're fine. I'm over Sally, you're over Billy. We need to just take this at face value and stop questioning things. Jabot leak investigation. Billy rushes press release as Phyllis remains missing. Meanwhile, Jack drops by Billy's place to talk about the leak, and who may have let this information out. Billy is rushing out a press release to announce the launch of Abbott.com, because word is out already, and Sally is there helping Billy since Phyllis isn't around to do it. Billy leaves one more concerned voicemail for Phyllis, wondering where she is and asking her to call him. Nikki's advice to Claire and Kyle's boundary setting. Family conflicts and Summer's potential schemes. Thursday, March 6th. Nikki is very worried about Claire after the showdown at the GCAC, where Victor made it very clear that he is not going to tolerate Claire and Kyle being together. She knows that there's trouble in the wind, and so Nikki's going to give Claire some advice. You know, maybe it's listen to your granddad because it's not worth the fight, or maybe it's listen to your heart. Do what you want and Victor will adjust. Kyle has to kind of put his foot down to some extent with Summer Newman, Allison Lanier. He's setting up some boundaries. I am taking this spoiler with a grain of salt because the last time they had a setting boundary spoiler, it was just Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, asking Holden to step away from the table while she and Sally finish her conversation. That's not really setting boundaries. Of course, Summer is very worked up about Phyllis being missing, and she just told Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, that she and Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, are definitely over. It is not going to happen, so she maybe try to lean in towards Kyle. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Summer tried to leverage the drama of her mom being missing to get closer to him. Something like that. Devin's suspicions and Lily's complicated relationship with Damon. Nate's concerns. Devin Hamilton, Brighton James, has a bunch of questions for Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, about Damien, and you know, she had Victor pull info. She is still following up with this investigation, but she's also seeing him in a situation where Devin thinks they're dating and Lily makes it clear they're not. I think Devin wants to know, is it one? Is it the other? What are you doing? You know, Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, doesn't like this, so we need to tread carefully but still protect the family. Abbott versus Newman war escalates. Jack's promise, Victor's ultimatum, and Audra and Holden scheming. Friday, March 7th. Jack promises something to Summer, and again, you know, he smells in the wind this Newman versus Abbott war is coming into a new phase because Victor just can't let anything lie, and he may be warning her about it. And he also may be promising that he won't let what's happening with Victor affect Summer's relationship with the Abbotts. They are on good terms with her, and you know, he may want to hear what's going on with Phyllis. We'll see. Victor slaps Claire with an ultimatum by the end of the week, and I'm sure it is, you know, dump Kyle, forget him, find another guy. You can't date a dirtbag Abbott, but that kind of stuff. He's going to come at her pretty hot, pretty hard, and Claire's not going to take it. I don't see her backing down in any way, shape, or form. She survived Jordan. She can survive Victor, right? Audra and Holden are scheming on Friday, and that could be risky if Nate walks up on them and sees them, you know, talking since he knows that they dated. But he doesn't know nearly the extent of their relationship, and this scheming may be about Damon and Amy Lewis, Valerie Pettiford. Maybe something to do with their past. Spoilers from March 10th to 14th. Nate's suspicions, Adam and Chelsea's reunion, and Phyllis's disappearance. Tucker McCall, Trevor St. John go into the week of March 10th to 14th. Nate is suspicious of Holden, and with good reason. You know, the guy wants Audra back, and I expect that he may try and blow up her relationship with Nate. It sounds like back when Holden and Audra were together, that he wanted to stay with her. Audra was the one who walked away, and back then she was in her I don't do relationships thing, and now she is open to it, and so Holden may want her to explore that with him instead of Nate. Adam is very pleased with how well things are moving forward with Chelsea. I'm sure Connor Newman, Judah Mackey, is going to be ecstatic that they're doing this reunion thing. We're also going to see Adam and Victor checking in next week, scheming about Billy, this new company launch, and how to come against the Abbotts. Adam, as usual, is perfectly willing to trash Billy, but he's not going to take any direct hits at Jack, and that may bother Victor, fresh off him getting some sass and pushback from Claire. And you know, Victor basically revealed that they have an inside source by taunting Jack, which wasn't the best move because now Jack's on a high alert, and he may be going through and purging people from Glad or something like that. Nikki taking Claire's side isn't going to sit well with Victor, and she's definitely still pushing for a truce. Billy Abbott is increasingly worried about Phyllis after that conversation with Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziadei, and after his most recent urgent message doesn't get returned. The good thing is Sally is helping him out in Red's absence, but there's obviously so much more to it. Phyllis and Sharon Newman Sharon case. S family's get increasingly more worried. Lily is not going to stay away from Damon, no matter what Nate said. Nick is trying to keep a cool head with Sharon and Phyllis missing, and we are very close to finding out who is holding them captive. I just did a video about that the other day, and I'm still leaning towards Michael Baldwin, Christian Jules LeBlanc. I think this is a benevolent kidnapping, but we'll find out. Amy should be going to see the oncologist and may have an update on her leukemia, and Jack, Diane, and Kyle are going to plot some retaliation against Victor.